The one thing that I did want to mention, because he said that Tweek is a defensive player, I feel like that's something that benefits him a lot when he's playing Sephiroth, because if you're a defensive player, you tend to take less risk and like put yourself in situations where you will not die as early. So if you do that, if you're a defensive player, then you'll get wing more because you'll be in shield more, and most characters can't really kill you off of a grab until like maybe 100 or something. So you'll still be able to get wing, and then you'll be able to play your game with wing at that. The only thing that is kind of rough is that like you're very light, and even when you have wing, you usually have wing when you're at a high percent. So it's like you have wing, you're a better character, but you can still get touched once and die and lose your wing.
Are you some scrub who can't handle plus frames? Do you cry every night at the thought of Happy Chaos shooting you full screen? Do you think Woust loust, even though loust just Faust? Well, do I have the offer for you? Tell him, Lord Knight.
What?
Subscribe to the Beast Coast FGC channel today.
All right, hey, what's up, everyone? It's Charles, it's Cosmos. We're here to talk about Sephiroth, and more notably, Tweek's run with Sephiroth at MomoCon. Obviously, 4th place with Sephiroth is a really, really good placement for a character we kind of see, but not really too much in the tournament environment.
There are a lot of Sephiroth players, like not a lot, but there are some Sephiroth players, and some people that play Sephiroth as like secondaries. Like we know Pen has a Sephiroth secondary. We know Ned primarily plays Sephiroth. I think he's solo Sephiroth now,
I believe so, yeah.
Correct, yeah. So there are other Sephiroth players, but like they don't really make it as far as Tweek, and we know that Tweek is basically like a top 5 player. So like seeing someone that's like a top 5 player pilot a character like Sephiroth is always very cool to see.
Yeah, and for me, it's so hard, in my opinion. I don't think Sephiroth is like top tier by any means, but it's so hard to play Sephiroth, man, because Sephiroth's highs are very high, like when he has wing, when everything gets going, but his base stats really do work against him, you know what I mean? I feel like...
And without wing?
Well, just how tall he is and how light he is, right? Like, your win condition is to get wing. I wouldn't say it happens all the time, but if you're playing a good player slash character, usually you're probably going to not have a stock with wing at least once a game, right? I mean, obviously it depends on the matchup, depends on the tools, but yeah, I just feel like it can be really hard because Sephiroth's tall, because Sephiroth's light, his base stats are working against him in a sense to get to his win condition, because killing Sephiroth at around like 90%, 80% is not super hard, right?
Something that I've always talked about, especially with someone like Light, we've always been like, yeah, if Sephiroth had wing the entire game, he would basically be like a top 5 character, because whenever he has wing, he gets buffed too. Like all his moves are stronger, he's faster. I'm pretty sure he's a faster faller, and he gets an extra jump. So like his like mix-up potential with the extra jump is something that is incredible, because having the extra jump and being able to like bait out somebody to like spot dodge if you think they're gonna land on you with Nair, and then you just use your triple jump and then land on them with Nair, you get like a lot of mix-up. But like the fact that like if you're playing somebody that like combos you very hard and like kills you very early, like Fox or Sheik, if you're like just not able to get to that point, Sephiroth with no wing is like, I don't even think he's like a top 20 or top 25 character.
Yeah, he just doesn't have a lot of hitboxes and stuff like that. It's interesting to see how Tweek operates, or like just the general gameplay at MomoCon. You see Tweek, I mean, Tweek is generally a safe slash defensive player. He just doesn't want to take too much risk, which I feel like with Sephiroth, sometimes you do have to take a little bit more risk because you don't have like really safe, meaty aerials to kind of throw out and move around the map with. There's like this sweet spot where if someone's at around F-tilt distance away from you, you generally have to make a choice, right? If you want to pressure them, are you going to throw out F-tilt or down smash, or maybe down tilt, like something ground level at around that distance? But if they jump while you commit to that move, you're going to get reversaled, right? So it's like, okay, are you going to do that, or are you going to fade back fair, right? Or are you going to throw something and in the air level or the ground level horizontally in that specific situation when you have that distance? Because obviously that's Sephiroth's biggest strength, is just his distance. Well, actually, I don't know. I feel like his biggest strength is actually a short hop. We saw Tweek doing a lot of grab, just empty land. And obviously when you have wing, you're a faster faller, so the empty lands are even faster, right? And Sephiroth has such a good short hop, one of the better short hops, very reminiscent of like a Fox-esque short hop, where you're just like, you barely go off the ground, right? Somewhat of a fast faller, even more of a fast faller with wing. So a lot of, and Tweek will say this too, he says he feels like he's playing a grappler, even though he's not really a grappler. It's more so just he's able to get a lot of grab situations because of Sephiroth's short hop. Yeah, I mean, just watching Tweek's run through MomoCon, it was a lot of like empty movement, trying to react, right? To me, it feels like sometimes you gotta gamble a little harder with the counter just because it's so high reward. And again, it's so hard to justify gambling with Sephiroth because of his weight and
he's like basically a glass cannon.
Right. But it's just, oh man, I just generally don't think he's that strong, or like I don't want to say he's not that strong. It just feels like it's hard to be consistent with him. Generally, when you look at characters, it's like strong characters. It's like the consistency, right? So I don't know. There's just some matchups where he gets to edgeguard characters for free and stuff like that, and then there's other matchups that looked pretty rough too. I mean, Game & Watch looked pretty hard for Tweek. Obviously got double eliminated from Meister at MomoCon, and I mean,
it's interesting because I personally felt like Game & Watch would be one of the matchups that Sephiroth would do pretty well in, because Game & Watch is one of the characters that struggles if he can't really get in, and I feel like Sephiroth would be one of the characters that would make Game & Watch struggle to get in more than most of the other characters. Like Game & Watch, I won't say that they always loses to sword characters, but like sword characters definitely have a better chance at walling out Game & Watch and keeping Game & Watch in the air at bay. And Sephiroth has like one of the biggest swords in the game. Even though like I feel like the thing that makes it harder for Sephiroth is that like his frame data isn't as good as the other sword characters. If you're using your sword throwing out something, you're basically like committing. And it's like if you're not getting the sweet spot, there's a higher chance that like a character like Game & Watch would still, even though he's like not as fast on the ground, he would still be able to like get closer to you and punish you with like a short hop nair, and then get like his 40% combos, get his juggle situations going on. And like Game & Watch could also be potentially one of those characters that like gets you to 70. You want to get to 80 to get wing, but you get down smashed at 70, and then you get force smashed and you die, so you don't even get wing.
Yeah, just one of those other characters that have a good window to KO you, right? And off of a straight hit like down smash is really, really strong.
The one thing that I did want to mention, because he said that Tweek is a defensive player, I feel like that's something that benefits him a lot when he's playing Sephiroth, because if you're a defensive player, you tend to take less risk and like put yourself in situations where you will not die as early. So if you do that, if you're a defensive player, then you'll get wing more because you'll be in shield more, and most characters can't really kill you off of a grab until like maybe 100 or something. So you'll still be able to get wing, and then you'll be able to play your game with wing at that. The only thing that is kind of rough is that like you're very light, and even when you have wing, you usually have wing when you're at a high percent. So it's like you have wing, you're a better character, but you can still get touched once and die and lose your wing.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone early on was like, oh, hey, Sephiroth's so hard to ledge trap, yada yada, and it's just like, well, I mean, eventually he has to touch the ground. Like, you don't really have to.
He's really not that hard to ledge
with
trap.
wing. I think with wing, it's a little complex.
It's
right?
harder.
It's
he
harder.
has a lot more mix-ups, but it's like you don't really try to ledge trap him. He is hard to ledge trap, but like
with wing, he's hard to ledge trap.
Yeah, you kind of just let him get back to a corner.
Corner,
he's not the best. Yes, he is not the best out of getting out of corner is a problem. Because if he wants to get out of corner, he's probably gonna want to double jump, and then you'll know that he has one jump left, so then you can just juggle him then. But like he doesn't really have burst options to pressure in the corner, which is one of the problems that Sephiroth has. Like if you're playing against like a Fox or something, you're worried about dash attack. If you're playing against a Wolf, you're worried about his aerial mobility and his dash attack. But like Sephiroth, like the fact that he doesn't really have like a fast dash attack or a fast like rising aerial he can use that's like a big hitbox, or even like his like grab range isn't really that big, so you're like not really worried about like getting grabbed when he's in the corner. Like he's like one of the characters that you can like keep in the corner very consistently. And the thing about the game now is I feel like a lot of people are focusing on corner pressure. Like a lot of the top players, especially like Light, MK Leo, Spargo, like they're all very, very good at corner pressure, and if you're playing a character like Sephiroth, it's going to be very hard to get out of the corner against those characters.
Yeah, I mean, just being tall as well, right? Rising aerials, being more of a option to hit you because you're so tall is just such a big deal. So it'll be really interesting to see how players, all different. Like the one thing I will say is Sephiroth's such a popular character that good players will play him, right? Like, so that's one thing Sephiroth has going. In terms of the strength, I'm not too sure. It's so hard to say. I still think he's around like the lower end of high tier. But
how would you compare him to Byleth?
I think Byleth is a better character than Sephiroth, personally. That's what I feel like, because Byleth has like a more consistent kit.
Well-rounded.
Right, having a meaty nair that's a multi-hit is a very good tool to have, because when you get next to Sephiroth, he doesn't have much, right? Sephiroth just has to like kind of try and get out of the situation. So I think Byleth might not have as much highs, like, oh, I'm not gonna like counter, or it's kind of weird too, because I've seen Byleth, up be someone at like 30 and they die. So even then, Byleth still kind of has those moments, right, where you kind of just get robbed by Byleth, or like down throw back air is a KO confirm, at the edge with correct DI at like what 40-50%. So Byleth has a bunch of BS too. So very comparable in terms of like general strategy, but with Sephiroth it just feels so much harder, and I feel like there were matchups. I mean, I think Tweek got, I wouldn't say lucky, but I would say had some favorable matchups. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll say some bracket luck. Yeah, for sure. 2 peaches in a row.
Because I mean,
that's great bracket
luck. That's always a thing. Like bracket luck plays like into a factor of like a character on the tier list in tournament, because you're like, if you are trying to go further, you're most likely going to run into a certain character, and some characters you won't run into as much. Like you probably won't run into a Peach as much currently, unless you run into like Mutace or Ling Ling.
Right.
But like if you're getting further into bracket, you're most likely going to run into a Fox, one of the characters that's just like really strong at like making Sephiroth suffer to get to like his win condition. And like the other thing about that too is that like, since he's really tall, like he's very prone to get shield poked too. So like if a Fox back airs Sephiroth's shield and then back airs again, it's like pretty much a guaranteed shield poke, which is why he's also struggles in the corner.
Oh yeah. So it can be rough, but I mean, we saw Tweek fight back-to-back Peaches, I believe, in I don't know if it was, I think it was top 8 qualifier in the first round of top 8, or it could have been
it was
right.
It was. Yes,
so
it was.
2 Peaches in a row. So I mean, Tweek was very prepared to bring out Sephiroth or Diddy within this tournament, but I mean, when you're going up against Peach, and you can see how strong Sephiroth is when characters allot Sephiroth that space, right? Peach is notoriously known for having bad matchups against characters that she gets really punished for the lack of horizontal speed she has, right? And I think Sephiroth is definitely up that alley of, oh, hey, you just can't really get to me in a very quick manner. So here's this fair. And here's this bear.
It was actually like really cool to see in winners, like before even top 32 or something. Tweek was playing against Lima, the Bayonetta, and like he was going Diddy at first for the first four games. And I feel like Diddy would be one of the stronger characters against Bayonetta, because he's small. He has a projectile that he can hide and shield with. And he can just like punish Bayonetta for like using her like ground moves or landing aerials whenever she's like landing with a lot of lag after using aerial specials. But it felt like he was struggling with the Diddy Kong, and then game 5 he actually switched to the Sephiroth, and it looked like he was just extremely comfortable in that matchup. And I feel like it might have been because Bayonetta, like her only real burst option is like an aerial ABK afterburner kick, and it's like you don't really want to go for that as much, because if they shield it, Sephiroth can get like a nair and like start his like mix-up game after that. But like, even if you don't want to go for that, Sephiroth has so much range where he's like, basically, I feel like Sephiroth is faster than Bayonetta, and he has more range than Bayonetta too. So it makes sense why he would go Sephiroth, but it just felt like really weird that he started Diddy Kong first.
Right. I would think that Diddy does better than Sephiroth against Bayo.
Yeah, like on paper.
Right, and he did say that he felt like his Sephiroth was just playing better than his Diddy the entire weekend. He tries to equally practice with both, but you know how it is. Sometimes one character is just playing better than the other. So
yeah,
it was cool to see that even for this tournament, even like characters like Sonic, I was very like.
Sounds like a really bad matchup for Sephiroth.
Right, I was just like, oh, wow, he's gonna go Sephiroth for Sonic. Okay, we'll see how it goes. And Tweek did really well versus Sonic. I believe it was 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. So another matchup that we usually see him go Diddy, and then brought the Sephiroth in, right? So
it was interesting because the last time Tweek played Sonic was at Smash Bros. Tour, I'm pretty sure, and he lost
with Diddy.
He was doing Diddy Kong. So it's very interesting to see that like he like had the confidence to just pick his other character in Sephiroth against somebody that is playing a character that I feel like Diddy Kong would still be better. He might have just got the best of him that weekend, but like Diddy Kong definitely does better against Sonic than Sephiroth does. But like it looked that set looked beautiful. It looked like he knew exactly what to do in every situation. It looked like Sonic kind of just couldn't really do anything in a lot of situations, especially when Sonic was at ledge. It kind of just felt like he was just trapped for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. I love the use of down smash as well. I think one thing that a lot of people overlook is when you have wing, you have armor on your smash stacks, but a lot of Sephiroth's smash stacks are kind of like not the greatest. Obviously they're really strong, especially with wing, and you have the armor, but down smash feels like his best smash attack, just because
Fast, like it's the less laggy one.
Right.
It's the one that has the least lag.
Well, right, and then it can anti-air. It also does shield damage, right? So you kind of it's a higher risk F tilt, right? Like you're obviously going for a ground poke there, but if you chunk their shield really low, then all of a sudden like maybe your fairs, maybe your F tilts can start shield poking, right? Now all of a sudden some of these more committal hitboxes have way more of a threat. So now your opponent has to, like, maybe you can force them in the air a little bit more. There's a lot more conditioning, right? Because maybe shield's not going to be their best option. If you hit another down smash, Sephiroth's a character that is designed that can, KO you at 0%. So I think down smash is actually a pretty core part of Sephiroth's kit, and how you use down smash to punish people shielding on the ground is really important, because if you can get people to come up into the air and start contesting the fair, I feel like Sephiroth, one of his better moves is fair and neutral. It is his meatiest aerial, right? It just lasts not forever, but a decently long time.
6 frames, I believe.
Yeah, it's all right, So throw out the fair. It's not, you don't get crazy return off of it, but it's really solid air poke. Sometimes you can fast fall it, catch people running in and stuff like that, and trying to set up, I think, fair and down smash and really complement fair is the main thing. And we saw a decent amount, and Meister actually did a really good job after game 1 in the loser set. He started spacing right outside of down smash, and either not necessarily whiff punishing down smash, but you can close the gap and put Sephiroth in a really uncomfortable situation, right? Because once Game & Watch gets in on Sephiroth, I mean, you can at any moment up B, right? So it's that threat is always going to be there. So Sephiroth has to respect it a lot, and up B is the main combo starter. So that's why I think, because even Meister was doing a lot of crouching as well. So I think Game & Watch does pretty well in that matchup, and it's just weird because I don't feel like Sephiroth operates like any other sword character, because if you look at a lot of other sword characters, for the most part, you can whiff aerials, or at least the stronger sword characters, you can whiff moves, and it's pretty hard to whiff punish. Good luck trying to whiff punish a Cloud doing back air, right? But whiff punishing Sephiroth is really easy if you just outposition him, right?
Whenever I play against Sephiroth, that's literally my entire gameplay, is to just whiff punish him. And if you have a semi-fast character, you don't even have to be really fast. Even if you're just if you're I mean, it doesn't really depend on how fast you are. It depends on your speed and based on what your range is. So if you have good enough speed or good enough range, you can usually just whiff punish Sephiroth doing any aerial that's not in air.
Right. Well, that's going to be it for us. If you guys have any comments, or if you guys have any opinions on Tweek Sephiroth, let us know in the comments below. Maybe you agree with a lot of the stuff we said, or maybe you disagree. But until next time, we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.